I guess I should add myself to the stage. Hey guys, how's it going? Wow, I'm zoomed in. What's up with this? I'm not used to this. Something's going on. I don't like it. Hold on. Camera. Something's going on. Okay, she seems to think. I'm just sorry. Just typing into Michael's question about Dogman. And yes, it has come across my desk several times over the past God knows how many years. God, this thing's driving me nuts. I feel like I'm hangman here. Holy crap. I hate hoodies. Hoodies suck. I don't know why it's like that. I don't know. Anyways, wardrobe fucking malfunction crap driving me nuts. Anyways, uh let me post this. Well, there you go. And now this thing is driving me nuts. I don't know why, but it just is. I don't know why it's gone like that. I hate my. Let's see. Ah, oh. Well. Anyways, how is everyone doing? It is a dull day here in at the studio. It's man, this is driving me nuts. Hold on a sec. I'm sorry, guys. I'm very particular with this crap, and it's just driving me nuts. Hmm. Yes, that I was going to mention as well. Ranger Paul will be on the show this Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2 a.m. UK time. He will be on this. Thank you for bringing that up, Ann. Yes, he will be coming on the show, so that'll be pretty interesting. And I've got some more. What, Tim? Hope you're okay, dude. Sucks that you're in the hospital. Hopefully, you're okay. Pneumonia is brutal, brutal. But hopefully, you're okay, buddy. Uh, yeah, Paul's a good guy. Paul's a really cool guy. So, for days, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Days. Did you catch anything of the House of Representatives hearings? Yes. No, I did not. Unfortunately, I didn't see that, Steve. Anything interesting? Uh, just reading the chat. I'm sorry. The cam is driving me nuts. Give me a sec, guys. I'll be right back. It's driving me nuts. I'll be right back. Sorry, I'm just really particular with this crap. I'll be right back. Hold tight. It would help if I unmuted my mic. Hey B, how are you? Who else? And that's it. Yeah, sorry about that. Now the camera's better. I just hate it when it does that auto zoom shit in the background, does an update or whatever. But anyways, I'm back. Lucky you. Um, okay, so I'm just catching up here on the chat. 6 days. Thought it was. Well, glad they figured it out, buddy, and glad you're on the mend. Hopefully, you're better and you get out of there soon, dude. Yeah, that sucks being having pneumonia. Hey, Steven, how are you, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. So yeah, okay. So as Ann mentioned earlier, Ranger Paul will be on the show this Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2 a.m. UK time. And I have more big news coming up about another guest. I can't really say too much until it is actually cemented in stone. But we've got somebody coming on. I know a few of you know are familiar with, and I've been really busy working on getting some other people on. And again, I'm getting down to some guy in the chat. I'm gonna have to message him soon to get him to come back on, Steve, Mr. Wills, about coming back on for a scheduled show as well. So, yeah, well, I've just been busy getting guests lined up. We're going into hiatus. Let's see. Today's the 14th. So, our last show before the Christmas, New Year's holidays, will probably be December 8th. Will be our last scheduled guest show. But we have, let me just see, November 29th, which is a Friday. We are going to have a special show. Friday, November 29th, 6 p.m. here, 11 p.m. in the UK. We're going to have a special show. And again, I can't really get into too many details until it's absolutely cemented in stone. But I know a lot of you guys out there are familiar with the guests that will be coming on, and some big news. Some big news will be splattered, I guess, if you will. Hey, Shar, how are you? Good to see you. So hopefully I'll be able to share that soon because I mean the 29th, it's like only 15 days away. So hopefully that like I said, that gets this thing drive me nuts. It's so itchy, whatever. Ugh. Dazzy, hey. So yeah, big news on that. And I'm looking in the new year, the second half of the season, looking to get Mr. Fred Anderson back on, our buddy, all the way from Sweden, back on the show. He's always a great person to have on, a great guest, and we'll be talking about UFOs, of course, because he's a UFO guy now. Um, am I up for? Yeah, you up for studying and taking it? uh, amateur radio license. Are you being serious? That's cool. Sure, I'll help you. Why not? I'm good, Char. Busy as hell the last few days. And oh my god, I I had an investigation of an old high school that dates back to the 1870s, or at least the former school. And I I haven't even gone through the footage or anything, and I really need to get going. Um, you're a radio ham? Yeah, yeah. I've been interested in being a radio ham. Yeah, I'd be interested in that. I would. I think obviously one of the biggest inspirations for that was always Art Bell. When listening to Art Bell years ago. My dad used to work with CBs back in the day, and I got into them. So you're a CB guy, Rob? I know there's a lot of people that really do it, are into it. Um, been meaning to take it for around 10 years. Excuse me. Just need to get in gear. Yeah, I know. There's so much on my plate, so much going on, and trying to get anything done. It's really tough. Like I'm trying to finally. Let me just post this. I mean, if anybody is interested in coming up, by all means, you're more than welcome to pop on up. Um, yeah, things. It's true. Once you get older, time flies quicker, and it sucks. Matthews, a radio ham too. Matthews, what? Matthews, Austin Matthews. Who are you talking about? Hey, Swedish chef, how are you, buddy? Good to see you, man. Uh, besides, CB's only a tiny band. Yeah, it. You know what? It's intriguing. So I mean, yeah, I mean anything's possible. Oh, Matthew. Oh, Matthew. Okay, Matt Williams. Sorry. In fact, hold on a sec. I meant to. I meant to see. That's back in 2016. I came across a number of. Yeah, I definitely miss Art Bell back in the day. I'll tell you, man. His shows were just a lifeline. Especially I remember working the midnight shift, and holy crap, I tell you, listening to his show live was just amazing. I mean, obviously you take it for what it was, and damn well he didn't believe everything he had on that show or what he discussed on that show. It was entertainment for the most part, but I'll tell you, man, wow, that show was just great. And I'll be honest, there has never ever been a show quite like that ever again. Never. Never. And I mean, I've stumbled upon a few people that have enjoyed over the years, like Lou Gentili, who is also a really cool host, talking about a lot of stuff in the paranormal and so on, the strange and unusual. And Clive Lewis, who is still, ground zero. He gets more into the kind of conspiracy sort of, and I'm not much for conspiracy crap. I'm not. I mean, I used to be, but I can't anymore. It's too much. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do get myself entangled in some conspiracy shit here and there, but I don't drone on it like it used to. Because I mean, realistically, a lot of it's just pure crap. It really is. I mean, not saying it all is pure crap. No, I mean, there's a lot of shit that comes out of it that becomes a reality. Don't get me wrong. I do understand that, but that's the thing is you got to pick and choose. You have to weed through the fucking bullshit to get to the real shit, and some people can't do that, and I think that's what ruined it for me. There are so many, and now obviously with TikTok and so on and so on, it's like these people, they literally fucking praise it like it's the fucking Bible. It's the end all be all. What a lot of these people are saying on TikTok is reality. Folks, get real. Get with it. Jesus, man. You gotta educate yourself. Do your research. Back check. You know? Just because somebody's spewing something on TikTok and giving you all this information, it doesn't mean it's real. You know? It's like a lot of these paranormal shows, you know? People wholeheartedly believe them. But I mean, the main thing is do your research. Do your research. Don't be lazy. I mean, if you really want to know if something's true or not, do your research. Always look into it yourself. I mean, that's important. I mean, that's the most important thing, especially with conspiracy theories, because there's a shitload of them out there. You know, a shitload of them out there, and it's scary. I mean, I hate to quote certain people by saying fake news. There's a lot of it. There's a lot of it. And I mean, if you believe it, you're going to start to look like this guy here, you know, or end up like this guy. You don't want to end up like this guy. So do your research. Do your research. Do your research. I guess hence the title. Reality is not real, but illusion is your best friend. Yeah, well, there's so many fucking delusional people out there. You know? No, exactly, Swedish. Don't ask Chat GPT. No, just do the hardcore research. I mean, I know it's a lot of work for some of you people. For some of you people, not you guys in chat. I know not you, but I mean out there in the world, and the people lurking that aren't in chat, or who are in chat but lurking or whatever. Research is definitely something you really need to do. You know, it's so easy to say that something exists or something is real, or you know it's like me telling you, did you know that these chips are based on a real encounter with a space raider who liked pickled onions? Bad example, but had to. Steve, I still have to pick up my Space Raiders t-shirt. I have to. Are they real? They are. Space Raiders. Space Raiders are real. I mean, come on. Like, seriously. Come on. They're as real as you get, right? As real as they get. See? Crunchy enough. But I mean, yeah. Um so getting back, made from bones of Zetas. Yeah, Zetas. Crunchy bones. Crunchy bones. Crunchy. No, I'm a lousy singer. Anyways, But anyways, I don't know how long I'm going for, but I figured I'd come in here. Yeah. Oh, hey, well, no, sorry, Ann. I, I gotta disagree. I have to disagree on that. Although I have to say, I really like the monster. I love Monster Munch. Don't get me wrong, but Monster Munch mayonnaise is really good. But you know what? I prefer Space Raiders. I love their pickled onion more. I really do. And you know what? You know who makes a good pickled onion? Crisp. Teo. What is it? Teo? Teo. I think it's Teo. Their pickled onion crisps are really good too. But I like Monster Munch, but you know what? I have to say, Space Raiders are my favorite. They're my favorite. Personal preference, obviously, but I get it. You like your Monster Munch better. And hey, the mayonnaise. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It's like a creamy version of the crisp of the Monster Munch crisp. You know, it's so fucking addictive. Thank you, Steve. Yeah, you know what? I finished the series off. Although I really, really enjoyed the series as a whole, but I found it kind of got a little hokey near the last couple episodes. The last couple episodes kind of got hokey. But overall, I like the series, and I really do hope they come back with a second season. I really do. I mean, they kind of left it open, I guess. Um, but I began because somebody suggested it. I began watching The Penguin, and so far I'm loving it. The Penguin is actually a really good series so far. I'm only finished up the second episode, but I actually really do enjoy that series. It's really, really cool. Let me just see here. Let's see. Yeah, I really enjoy it, Steve. I really do. The first two episodes. Mm. Give me a sec, guys. I'll be right back. Forget the flavor. I need to send you some of the Jamaican hot curry powder I have got. You touch. Oh fuck, wonderful. I love curry though. Oh my god. The spicier the better. I'll be right back, guys. Sorry, let me just Are you guys really enjoying that cornfield? Honestly, it's the best thing at night, and it's so damn creepy. And I wish I was able to film it without other people in there, and that's the problem. I had to cut out a lot of stuff because there was a lot of people in there. It's a very popular cornfield maze. Let's see. Mm. Epic show. Yeah, the penguin. I really do. Like I really love the end of you prefer woodlands. Yeah, I kind of do too. But I love my cornfields. I love them, especially in the fall, obviously. But woodlands, yeah, are nice. I said, our the Dark Woodlot series is kind of a tribute to, um, you know, forests at night, dark woodlands at night. What could you possibly stumble upon in the dark? Did you hear? Were you talking about me? Did I shout? Oh. Hello, sir. How are you?
Hello, my little Manchari, Junior.
Wow, you call that unshaven? Oh my God, just a little bit, eh?
Couple of days growth. Don't matter when you're this far back, does it? It just,
No,
you
you can't really see it back then.
no.
How you doing?
I am okay. How are you, my
I
little Manchari? Moi, moi. Sacre bleu.
So what's going on? What's new? I mean, you've been pretty busy.
Well, not that busy to be honest. I still wait to get my car back. My mate's working on the clutch and the gearbox and all that.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, I've been stuck in the house a bit. And yeah, so I haven't been that busy really. I would like
No,
to get out a bit more, but yeah,
you've been
just
posting quite a bit of stuff though.
well,
Or
just
is that
cram-
is that archive stuff that you've had for a while?
no, it's all crammed in like one day of filming. Just try and get to as many
Oh
locations as I
wow.
can before the day's over. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Do as much as we can.
Well, yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, I guess our Mel kind of mentioned to you about a certain person that I've been trying to get on the show that might be coming on the show, and that she'd
Oh
like
yeah,
you she'd
yeah,
like you to be a part of it as well. And well, I would too. I think that'd be pretty cool.
yeah, yeah. No, I'll come along and say hello.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm just waiting for her to get back to me. Apparently she's passed him along the date. It's November 29th, which is a Friday, 6 p.m. here, so 11 p.m. uh your time, the
Cool.
29th.
29th of this month, yeah?
Yep, November.
Better put that in my diary because I probably won't remember. 29th,
Yep.
Friday night at
Now,
UK time.
UK time will be 11 p.m.
Right. Okay. Better put that in then. Oh God, it's really really awkward sometimes. Right. Steve Genier live stream 11 p.m.
Mon chéri.
Sorry, my little my little chocolate eclair. Oh God,
So,
my thing's gone wrong. Look, hang on. Let me turn my background off. There we are.
um,
Going a bit
did you
mental.
did you capture the or did you watch the UAP
I,
discussions? What was it yesterday?
I did actually. I was tempted to sort of do a live, you know, unpicking of it, but it didn't seem like there was a hell of a lot going on really. I was a bit underwhelmed. I'm glad you brought it up because I probably would have liked to have mentioned it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like So how have we really gone any further than we did the first time? I think more was said by David Grush
Mhm.
than anyone at this hearing.
Yeah.
And that's a guy just sat there to keep repeating himself. So he was kind of like, you could have just had him say it once and then got up and walked away and put somebody else in his place. He was a waste of space. I'm sure he was well intentioned, but I mean, like, come on, you're trying to kind of impress upon the Senate members. You need good witnesses, and I think that it just came. They were asking him questions and were going, "Oh, we can't say. Oh no, I don't know. I don't know." There's a lot of don't know, can't say, and it's like just really felt watered down to me. I don't know what you think.
I haven't had a chance to watch the whole thing. I quickly glanced over because I didn't see it live, so I've been just kind of like watching it here and there. And yeah, it literally, yeah. Sorry, Steve mentions Congress, not Senate. But I mean, honestly, it's just okay. We're giving you an update. Nothing really new. It's just an update.
Hmm.
Nothing new. We haven't furthered anything. But it's like, come on, get on, as you put it, get on with it. Like, really, just honestly, stop fluffing stuff around and let's get to the meat and bones here. It's like watching it's like watching Oak Island.
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
oh hey,
yeah.
this season we're gonna really we're gonna find something. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. Same thing every season. It's like this. It's like every Congress meeting or whatever. It's the same thing. Nothing new.
Yeah, and I mean, some of these people were kind of saying, I can talk to you about this in a skiff, a sensitive compartmentalized information building or whatever, facility. um I can talk to you in a skiff, and it's like, well, you could have done that between last year's hearings and now. You know what
Mm,
I mean? All
yeah.
these people who are all interested, they're all gagging, chomping at the bit, these senators, and they're all capable of meeting you in a skiff. But the time you mention, well, I can meet you in a skiff, is when you've got your hearing. You could have got that out of the way.
Mm,
You know what I mean? So these people would have been more on side, because you could have said, "Well, I discussed that with you in the skiff," but and they would have gone, "Yes," and there would have been a lot more agreement, rather than, "I'm asking you a question because I don't know much about you. Why haven't you done all this work in the meantime?" It's kind of like, it's almost like they're waiting, they're waiting until they have the hearing to kind of talk about this stuff. They could be engaging with these people in advance of that, and I think that was a missed opportunity. I thought there would be much better witnesses as well, firsthand, people who had connections with these programs,
mhm.
because there was like James Lukatsky. I
Yep.
mean, real missed opportunity. Dr. James Lukatsky, who worked alongside Louis Elizondo, and who in his book says, we have got a saucer and we have been inside it. Bang. And he was cleared to say that. Now, nothing of that level of wow was said during the whole thing. So why wasn't Lukatsky there?
And
You know?
I mean, Jeremy brought up something that was brought up before. Talking about we've got bodies, but non-human. You know,
Hmm.
I mean, further that. I mean that's literally just echoing what we already know. What's like move forward, let us know. Show us.
Yeah, it seemed like a bit of a, we're just gonna remind you that we still exist, we're still alive,
Mm.
UFO people, we're still here, and it's like, but not really telling us very much. So yeah, it was a. I got the feeling that it was puffed out because they didn't have enough stuff. It felt like they hadn't maybe sat down
Mm.
as a group
Yep.
and prepared. Um, I don't, I don't want to rip on these people too much, but I mean, there were times when I was going like, come on, need a bit more than that. And it was Tim Gallaudet repeating himself,
Mhm.
repeating, and it came across like, well, Tim Gallaudet, although he is kind of involved with safety of flight issue, things,
Yeah.
behind the scenes. Again, when asked, what do you know? He was like, well, there was an event where the email disappeared. And they ask him another question a bit later on. He goes, yeah, well, it was like the event where the email disappeared. And then later on, it's, oh, well, it's the event where the email disappeared. He's like, that is that it? Is that all? Is that the sum total of where you're coming from? Is like, I saw an email, but it disappeared. I mean, yeah, and repeating it just makes it seem like you guys trying to just stall to get this out of the way. Finish up quickly so you can get out of here. That's what it's. Oh, it had the kind of ring of that to me.
How long was it? How long was the hearing?
I don't know whether it was like 2 hours, but
Yeah.
it felt like I'd heard everything realistically in the first 20 minutes. I felt like, well, that's it. Everything else was just a rehash. So it was,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, that's what I was getting just from glancing over stuff. Hey, Luke.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah. It just literally just. I'm
yeah.
like, wait a sec. This is stuff we already know. This is stuff you've already mentioned.
Steve Wills is in the house and he's a
Yeah.
big UFO guy. Shall I invite him across, see if he wants
Yeah.
to come in?
Yeah,
Do you
well,
want to?
the link's there. Steve, come on up.
Yeah, I'll send it over to him just in case, because
Yeah.
he might have a different view on this. And yeah, Lukatsky not being there, I know that people had asked Lukatsky. I'd
Mhm.
heard that he had been asked, and he said he didn't want to do it. I think his reasoning uh, behind it was he didn't think it was going to push things forward at all. So he didn't see the point.
Yeah.
He didn't feel like, him being there would really make much of a difference. I think it would, because saying we've got a craft and we've been inside it, and then they could have said, well, tell us more about this craft then. Where is it? Sorry, I can't tell you, that's classified. Well, where, do you know the people who went inside it? Sorry, I can't tell you, that's classified. But it's a fucking lot bigger and better than saying, oh, the Tic Tac video, the Tic Tac, the gimbal, the Go Fast. Oh, my email disappeared. We know all this stuff. You know what I mean? It's like, put something out there that they haven't heard. I mean, we've heard from David Grush a lot of stuff that had never been
Mm.
heard before,
Yeah, yeah.
but we've never heard somebody say, we've got a craft, we've been inside it. There we are. That would have pushed it just that little bit forward. And even if Lukatsky wasn't there,
Yeah.
why didn't Elizondo say it? Why did he say, well, I can't speak for myself, but somebody I worked on in the project has
Yeah,
written a book
exactly.
which
Yeah.
has been cleared by DOPSA, so it's been cleared for publication, that says we've got a craft, we've been inside it. Yeah. So, and they could have said then, well, why don't we subpoena this guy? Like Steve was saying, we could subpoena this guy to bring him here to talk about this, because that's some pretty hard hitting stuff. But I mean, yeah, wasted opportunity, because you don't have to talk about what you know. You could talk about the fact that there's a guy out there. If you bring
Yeah.
him here, he will tell you this. You know?
I mean, I don't understand that. Why are they just the smoke and mirrors here? I just don't understand why. I mean, I it's the US government is got to be the worst with this shit. Why not just lay it out? I mean, what, they give you the impression, oh well, wait, we can't do that. We don't want to frighten people. Seriously? Honestly, well, you're not going to frighten anyone. Give us the lowdown.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why they didn't look into the possibility of a change in law, so that if stuff that has been discussed in a skiff, the parts of it which are deemed to be not sensitive by the committee members should be then released. Why do they talk about a change in law to do something like that? Instead of going, oh, I can't tell you, I'm very worried about my security clearances, and I'm a big patriot, and I don't want to damage national security, so I can talk to you about it in a skiff.
Mm.
And all that kind of like, I'll talk to you behind the scenes. That's piss. Every time you hear that, well, he's got more he can't say, and B, it pisses me off,
Mhm.
because it's like, well, these guys can hear in a closed room session, but we can't. So why don't they change the law to allow us to know what this guy knows? Why don't they relax it so that he can talk?
And the sad thing about, them coming, this far, it seems to be, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, it seems to be heightening the amount of people coming out of the woodwork that have had encounters, experiences, sightings, and you sit there and go, these just sound so fucking stupid.
Mm.
Like, I mean, we all heard about the Las Vegas alien sighting in the backyard. I mean, yeah, it's cool, but seriously, like, and this is a problem. Well, hey, the government says, hey, go ahead, yeah, they do exist. Boom, 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 and then you're getting this kind of crap, right?
Another thing that I was thinking as they were talking, they were saying, "Oh, we've got military and we've got the footage from the cameras, and and we've got the Immaculate Constellation, and it's all this stuff that's behind the scenes." I'm thinking, hang on, right? There's another avenue that they have never talked about wanting to bring it out and just get it out there in the public, is the Federal Aviation Authority that run the radars for the whole of the country.
Wow.
And I'm sure there's a lot of UFOs go streaking across those screens. Yeah. They said, "Oh, we'd like to bring pilots forward."
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, pilots. We want to bring pilots. There's a big stigma. Pilots don't want to talk because of the stigma. And what about
Yeah.
air traffic controllers?
Yeah.
Why not bring? Nobody mentioned air traffic controllers. Why don't air traffic controllers come forward and say what's routinely on their screens? They all say that there's always stuff on the screens, radars, that they go, "Well, what's that? I don't know. It's not squawking. There's no transponder code. I don't
Mhm.
know. I don't know. Or it might
Yeah.
be military. We just don't know what it is." You don't know what it is. Why don't we talk about all of that stuff? And it's almost like as if they don't want to bring that up because it's like, "Oh, well, will we be revealing where our military assets are flying around and they don't transpond?" Hang on, there's a massive resource there sitting, waiting for somebody to analyze. And the NASA guys going, "Oh, yeah, we need to use all our deep space stuff and all our technical stuff and stuff to look at you." It's like, hang on, you've got already right now radar. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to spend any more money. It already exists. Yeah. Why don't you get that radar material and sift through it?
I mean, you have so many, sort of departments that can sort of bring, I mean, NORAD even, right? Even
Yeah.
NORAD. I mean,
NORAD. Yeah.
it's got this huge ass big space that it patrols, and I mean, how many times have they captured something that just seems okay? Wait a sec, this is not fucking man made, or this is
Yeah.
not human, or this is crazy. We don't have this kind of technology. This is just absolutely crazy. But
Yeah.
I've never said anything other than, oh, there's some crazy fucking Chinese weather balloon that's analyzing the Rockies. Seriously.
Yeah. And I mean, they said they've probably been there a lot more
Yeah.
than we realize. It's just they've kind of like clocked onto it now. And the reason being, and I learned this 30 years ago when I was learning to fly in Cardiff, Wales Airport. Went up to the radar control room, and I said, "Oh, yeah, got all the plots and everything. So, how does this work?" And
Yeah.
he said to me, "Well, anything over 30 miles an hour, we compare where something was and where it was to. If it's over 30 miles an hour, it shows up on the radar. If it's under 30 miles an hour, we filter it out." And I
Yeah.
said, "Oh, right. So you don't see slow moving stuff." And I'm like, interesting. So if anything was moving that slow, it just wouldn't appear on the radar. So they wouldn't even know it's there. Right. So that's point one. So I said, "Is there any way for you to see what's moving slowly on the screen?" He said, "Oh, yeah, we put it into weather mode." Click.
Weather
Right.
mode.
So when they put it into weather mode, now you see all the clouds and you see all the radio transmission points like radio towers, cell towers,
Mhm.
you know, big, and this thing's popping on and off, where signals are going on and off, and you see it like it's like little sparklers going off on the screen. And I said, right, now you're seeing what's really there. And he says, yeah, that's it. And I'm like, oh, cool. So I said, what's this big thing? He was, oh, that's the big television transmitter. It's like a big bright on the screen. So basically, what you got is the same situation with NORAD. There's a lot of stuff they filter out, and that's
Yeah.
probably why they didn't see those balloons. Is because they're filtering out a lot of slow moving or anomalous traffic. They just filter it out. They're just not interested in things that oh well, that doesn't mean anything. And then they went, oh shit, maybe we missed some stuff. Maybe we need to not filter that out and be a little bit more concerned about what all these things are that are slowly moving around.
Yeah.
Maybe we should be looking at them. So therefore, if you take the NORAD data and you rewind it, you probably find out that these things have been coming over for the last 20, 30 years and we didn't know about it.
Yeah.
But then you'd be revealing flaws in the detection systems. And again, I don't think they'd probably want to go there because it's going to reveal the flaws. The major flaw being that it doesn't see objects that are moving slowly.
Wow.
So what if you get an object that comes vertically straight down? Yeah. Well, if it comes straight down, it's got 0 miles an hour left and right. So that's going to not show up on the radar. It could be the size of a mothership. It could be the size of a city. As long as it comes down vertically, nobody's seen it. It's not designed. The system's not designed to see that.
Oh, that's incredible.
Military systems can because they see height.
Yeah.
But civilian systems don't. But I mean, again, you can think there's probably 101 ways that stuff is just not being taken seriously and being looked at. But I don't think they want to look because I don't think they want the public to know what they could find, and they probably don't want to, they don't want to, or if they do, they probably do it, but that's their secret stuff. They're not going to reveal that, I don't think, unless forced to, but I think they should be forced to.
Well, I mean, you've gotten this, you've opened the can of worms this far. I mean, yeah, you can't just say, "Oh, well, we don't really have anything right now that we can share with you, but we do." Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like there's a lot of moments where you go like, "Oh, come on, guys! Like, you are the people who've got the stuffs in front of you, the tech's in front of you. If you just bother to use the bloody stuff, like watching Secrets of Skinwalker Ranch, and I'm thinking, why haven't you got a radar? Radar. Why haven't you got your own up on top of the mesa? I don't know. I'm up to series 3 at the moment, but I'm like, guys,
I have trouble with that show.
Where's your radar? They're talking about LiDAR, which uses lasers.
Yeah.
And they're talking about, then they got ground penetrating radar. Clue, radar. You know what I mean? You'd think by saying ground penetrating radar, they'd make them think radar. Then they put in rockets all the time, and it's like, oh, we want to find if something's up there. Radar. Radar.
Have you had a chance to watch Investigation Alien now with George Knapp? I liked the direction. I liked the first episode. The first episode they kind of drone on cattle mutilation and they get into human mutilation, which is wow, okay. I mean, I know, a friend of mine, he produced the show Beyond, and they got into human mutilation, and they actually NBC wouldn't air the episode because it was on human mutilation, and because it got into that very sensitive case in Brazil in I think it was the late 80s, early 90s, where that body that they had found that was literally cored, much like a cow would be, right? Precision cuts and everything, cord.
I
And
remember
of
there was
course,
a case that came out of Brazil, which it was scorned upon because there was a body, and then a
Yeah.
lot of people said like that's cartel type
Yeah.
activity, and it's
Yeah.
been attributed as being an alien
Yeah.
thing, but that's just by people who come along and taking the photos and going, oh, that's alien,
Yeah. That
you know.
that's the first one. But I mean, there's he goes in. They go into a case in again in Brazil on an island. I can't remember the name of the island, but basically people were being uh burned
Mm-hmm.
by something, by lasers or something, burned, and literally they what were they saying? They were saying they were calling it a uh, not a scouting, kind of like a scouting sort of. Okay, look at we're doing a research from afar, so we're literally what the hell the word, I can't even think of the word, but I mean
Reconnaissance.
reconnaissance. Yeah, sorry, reconnaissance. I was just reading what Steve's writing there. So the pics around conferences, yeah. um but I mean, yeah, again, it's TV.
Mm.
It's Netflix. I mean, I do like George Knapp. I mean, he's an investigative reporter for what, 40 years?
Mm-hmm.
But I
I,
mean,
I
still.
I do like watching these documentaries, but I
Yeah.
mean, when you are into ufology, you hear the same stories
Mm,
regurgitated. It's very infrequent you get new cases, and
yeah.
a lot of the time it's the same stuff, same stuff, same stuff. That can be frustrating. I mean, I would like people to do more original research, which is
Mm,
why Skinwalker Ranch is quite interesting.
mhm.
Um, I mean, missed opportunity after missed opportunity. When I watch it, it's almost like you want to throw something at the screen. It's like, okay, like missed opportunity. I'm thinking like, should I write to them and point these things out to give them
Yeah,
a clue, because
exactly.
they said there was a flight of a Gulfstream jet
Hmm.
at 45,000 feet, and it was going back and forth over the ranch. And it belonged to the National Institute of Science, NIS or something like that, of sciences. And they are known to do like scanning of the ground and scanning of the atmosphere and things like this. And they said, but why would they come when they only like they're in states like 10 states away, like a thousand miles away? That's where they do most of their work.
Yeah.
Why have they come over Skinwalker Ranch to kind of like in very high detail scan the area over Skinwalker Ranch? Brilliant question.
Mm.
And that was it.
That's it. That's it.
That was
Yeah.
it. And I'm thinking like, hang on a minute, did anybody bother to ring them up and ask them what they were doing there? No.
Exactly.
No. Freedom of Information Act request. I was even thinking like maybe I should do it myself, put a
Yeah.
FOIA in and just say like, so what were you doing above the ranch at that time? And maybe they'll come up with some sort of like pre-prepared, because I'm sure if they were doing something there that was dodgy at Skinwalker Ranch, they'd have a prepared statement in case
Yeah.
somebody asked the question. I bet they
Exactly.
were waiting for the phone call, but the phone call never came. you know. Um, I just didn't understand why they wouldn't like go, hey, shit, like let's find out what they're doing.
Yeah. Okay, so what is this event that's going to happen that has been alluded to by Lou and others? I don't know. Do you know much about that, Matt? No.
But whatever it is, I wish it would happen.
Yeah, 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 exactly. UFO entertainment. Yeah, UFO tainment. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, it's really really a shame that just holy that yeah the let's just further this. You say you want to be fucking transparent. Come on, then be transparent. Then fucking start, letting the information flow.
Yeah.
And they
And
don't wanna. They're still resistant.
they had a see again, being a radio amateur, I'm kind of like, ooh, there's a missed opportunity. I mean, yes, they've got these spectrum meters that
Mm.
go from the low end of the radio band right up into the high end, like microwaves and things like that. And they're picking up this 1.6 gigahertz frequency, and it
Yeah.
happens a lot. So the main astrophysicist said, I've put an antenna in my truck so I can turn it around to kind of like find out where the signal is. But it looked to me, just because I recognize these things, like it was just on a motor. So basically, it could be turned around, but there was no referencing compass rose. So he would know that's north, that's west, that's east, that's south. So it's all well and good for him to turn the antenna around,
Mhm.
but is he actually able to then write down, well, the signal was strong from this direction, note it down. So it's strong over there. Yeah, because the ideal method for doing this would be triangulation.
Yep.
So therefore,
Triangle.
you have two minimum, but preferably three antennas stuck out, calibrated, so they're all going to give you the compass directions. And when you get a signal, you turn all of them on to find out where's the signal coming from. And it might move. It
Yeah.
might move around the ranch. But at the moment, all they can do is say, well, it's stronger if I tilt the antenna somewhere roughly in that direction, and that's not very good. And there's methods that are used by radio amateurs which are actually designed specifically for very finely tuning into where something's coming from. Again, missed opportunity. And yeah, there's been some other moments like that. I've gone like, oh, come on, guys. Um, just a thought suggestion. I was like, you're on about taking an aircraft. They took a
Yeah.
Cessna up. They took a Cessna up and they flew it back and forth over this area with their own equipment on. Some of the equipment malfunctioned. They had some weird things happen. But
Well,
I'm
didn't
thinking
they
like,
weren't they using one of those grid detectors? They were using like a grid detector on that with the plane, weren't they? The Cessna?
they had multiple GPS devices in there
Okay.
when they were flying back and forth. The one I saw, they may have gone further in other episodes. I'm
Yeah.
only up to season 3 at the moment.
Okay.
But I was thinking like, well, you got to hire an aircraft which requires a pilot. You can only, well, you could fly at night, but you're flying during the day.
Yeah.
Um, you know, why don't you just put your GPS devices on the bottom of a drone and fly that up there?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Because they're on about like sending balloons up. It's like a balloon goes up, it's just bye bye.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
like, so you could have drones teach the people at the ranch how to fly the drone. It's not rocket science, it's pretty
No.
easy to do. And if you get an event happens, take up 3 drones, just 3 of your guys take the drones up and fly them through and see if you get in, specific things happening. But they always bring in outsiders. So it's like, we've got an idea, we're going to bring in a specialist team that are going to fly some drones. It's like, fucking hell, guys, buy your own. Buy your own.
Yeah, yeah.
What is wrong? Can't you fly these things yourself?
Oh man. Yeah, it's amazing. I I don't know. I mean, with the Skinwalker Ranch series, I mean, I'm like kind of sitting on the fence on a lot of it, but I mean, it's an intriguing. It's always been an intriguing because I mean, most people, maybe some people don't know. I mean, one of the major aspects of the ranch is the UFO activity that's gone on there.
Mm.
I mean, there's been, reported been quite a lot of UFO activity, and of course, what is it? Wendigo activity. And what else? There's what? There's something else going on there.
Skinwalkers,
Skinwalkers. Uh,
werewolf.
Werewolves.
Um,
So what do they say? They link the skinwalkers to what? Like Wendigo or something?
yeah, there's this kind of like,
Shapeshifters.
yeah, they say that they were the Indian tribe cursed another Indian tribe because
Yeah.
of slavery type stuff, which, that is true. But I mean, maybe there was something going on there long before that.
Well,
Maybe
yeah.
that area is just naturally something, it's got something going on there, which is weird. Um,
I
just trying
mean,
to think as well. Like other ideas that popped into my head is they're constantly talking about getting up above this triangle area. It's like, well,
yeah,
why don't you get a tethered airship? You know, like one of these, not an actual full size human carrying,
yeah,
but you can buy these things and you tether them up outside, businesses to kind of advertise the business.
yeah, yeah.
Get one of those in. It can stay there permanently for a month. You know, you can hang all the shit you want underneath it.
Well, they seem to have the money to do other stuff. Yeah, why wouldn't they do something like that?
Yeah, it's permanently in place, and you can put it right where you think the activity's happening. I mean, okay, 5,000 feet, you wouldn't be going up that high because you probably have trouble with the winds and things like that trying to pull it
Yeah,
over. But I mean, who's to say it can't be done? They should be contacting somebody who can put something up there permanently.
yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah. It's one of those.
rockets. It's like, pew, right, pew. Once you fired five in like this period of like 10, 15 minutes. That's experiment over. You could put something permanently up there and be monitoring continuously.
Continuously, exactly.
You know, they
Yeah,
brought they brought this guy in with lasers, and he was shining lasers against the mesa, and I'm like, well, one of those lasers, £1,000, buy your own, stick it up there permanently, shining it a beam of stuff across the mesa, and then
yep.
film that to see whether anything moves through the beams. Film it for a month, see if anything cuts the beams off. Why have they got to bring a specialist in to bring his stuff when you could just fit your own?
Hey, paranormal walks. Yeah, exactly. It's I find it that equipment fascinating. I mean, the laser grid sort of thing. You beam them into a certain area and see if anything breaks the lights. And I mean, there's been a couple. Like I have a grid. I think I have a grid laser here myself. I don't know where it's gone to, but um, I mean, they're great because obviously, I mean, if you break the laser beam, obviously, right? I mean, it's a no brainer, but I don't know, Matt.
They,
We
mm,
could write our own fucking TV show, which is scary, but yeah, I go ahead. Sorry.
they were flipping out about these guys came over with magnetometer sensors. They flew them on drones and they flew them back and forth, and they
Yeah,
found out where the. So why not get a permanent magnetometer sensor up there? You know, um, one bloke came along with. He had this like stick, which is a magnetometer sensor, and he's walking around taking measurements
yeah,
around the ranch. So
mhm,
why don't you get 10 of those and stick them in a grid across the ranch, constantly feeding back, and you can see where there's any fluctuations in the magnetic field permanently, continuously. And it's not something you have to go out and you don't have to play with it. You just leave it out there,
yeah,
but you get multiples of those devices and you fit them in permanently. I mean, that's something that's going to be, a lot better than just bringing a bloke in for a day to give you a ground survey. If you think this is, a lot of energy will obviously have a change in the magnetic field. So you want
mhm,
to permanently map the whole ranch with these types of things from side to side and work out whether it could be like a magnetic change could be moving through the ranch. You see, because they go with a drone and they go up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. We've mapped here we are. Here's your anomalies. That's one moment in time. Yeah.
yeah,
But if you map the whole thing out with these sensors, you could find out whether there were magnetic waves coming through from different directions. And then you could correlate that with a UFO sighting and your 1.6 gigahertz. You could start correlating. But they just keep bringing these experts in, like a little dip in the water with an expert. Now the expert's
mm,
gone home now.
yeah,
You know,
hmm
it's not permanent enough. The only thing they got permanent up is spectral analysis and cameras. That's it.
and yeah, exactly. Further that.
Yeah.
Build upon that, and then yeah. Oh well, that'll come later. Don't worry. Give us time. It's a slow burn. It might happen in the fourth season, Matt.
Well, they're giving them all the ideas, but they're
Yeah.
not running with them. You know, they're not going,
No.
"Oh, we've seen what you can do. That's wonderful. Thank you for showing us what you can do. Now we'll go
Yeah.
and buy some of those now, and we'll fit them." You know? They're not making that extra leap. It's like, "Oh, we've seen the aircraft in the sky. What's it doing?" But they don't make the phone call. You know, there's a lot of missed opportunities. I think they need to review, but it may be out because I'm only into season three. You know, maybe it's going to get better,
Yeah.
but they don't seem to be going, "Wow, we can use that. We'll get some of those." You know, um,
Hey, Sam. Yeah, it's
again, you know, it sounds stupid, but what do they all walk around with? Tri-field meters. Why don't they get an automated tri-field meter that is
mhm,
network connected and stick all of those in a grid pattern all over the thing? Why don't they get Geiger counters which are automated and stick
mhm.
all of those in a grid pattern all over the thing? So if a gamma ray turns up, or a an X-ray particle, or whatever, X-rays, then you can show where in the ranch instantaneously, and you can keep monitoring for months.
Yeah, and you can do that on so many levels, not just there. But I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, this is the stuff that you want to see happen because I mean, you never know what this shit's gonna pick up.
Yeah.
I mean, guaranteed. I always say guaranteed you're gonna grab something. If you're gonna explain it, it's a different story. But I mean, still, you're going to grab something if you do this.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, they've got stuff out near Homestead 2,
Yeah,
which they say is a high activity center.
yeah,
Um, I'm kind of surprised they don't have a permanent setup with somebody actually physically there at Homestead 2.
yeah.
Is where you say all the shit's going off. So why are you not there then? Why you're monitoring from, like, it takes you 5 minutes to get in the vehicle and 5 minutes to drive down. That's 10 minutes lost. By the time
Yeah,
something happens, it's over. Why don't you actually physically set people up in different areas so that
yeah.
yeah,
Too much work and too much money. That's probably what it is. Which is scary. But I mean, come on. You're like you said, you're employing all this technologies. Come on. Then
yeah.
go that step further. Why not? I mean, you're doing this. Why can't you bring that stuff in?
I mean, I haven't seen anything about like permanent temperature sensors all over, like weather stations all
Yeah.
over the thing, so they can tell whether the weather that's changing, whether the barometric pressure is changing, the air pressure is changing. It's kind of like easy stuff to set up. There's the guy there loves his cameras. Why doesn't he apply his knowledge of let's have a network of cameras to let's have a network of sensors? You know?
Yeah, I know it's one of those shows that I mean, I've watched it again, it's sparsely. I really need to watch it more in depth, but yeah, it's like, come on.
Mm.
I it's the shows though. I mean,
I think they've had a lot of weird experiences there, but they need to be now taking the bull by the horns and not just dipping their toes in every once in a while, and sort of, oh, let's do an experiment. Oh, wow, something happened. Then days go by. Then they go, let's have another experiment. Oh, something else happened. It's like, well, so why are these experiments not going on daily or permanently? You know what I
how many
mean?
how many seasons is it into now?
5, as far as I
5.
know.
Yeah, 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 5. Yeah, yeah, they're getting a good paycheck, all right. Of course. I mean, who owns it again? Who owns the
Bra-
Skinwalker Ranch?
Brandon Frugal, I think his name is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, and I mean, I know people have contacted him to come out and investigate the property,
Yeah.
and I know he charges an arm and a leg to do so. And I'm like, why? Why? Why would you fucking charge? I don't know. I would let anybody and anybody who has a really good idea
Mm.
for experimenting or whatever to come in there and not charge them. I just don't get it. I mean, if you really want to know what's going on, fuck the charging and let these people come on there, come in there and do their thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it if they're half-assed. I mean, that's a different story. But if there's a serious researcher that is asking the, come on and do some experimentation and run this and run that, why not? What do
Yeah.
you have to lose? I mean, you already own the property. Big friggin' deal.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's another missed opportunity, right? They said they poured 45,000 gallons of water down a hole, and
Yeah,
they put a dye in it, like a fluorescent day glow dye in it,
yeah.
and they wanted to see where it would come out on the ranch. But the water that was coming out, they couldn't really see whether it was it might have been diluted by that point. They couldn't see it, and I
Mhm.
was thinking, hang on a minute, fluorescent dye fluoresces under ultraviolet light. So why don't you put a big badass ultraviolet light on the underneath of a drone and fly it over at night?
Yeah.
Then you'll see where the water's coming out. Bingo. Didn't think of that one, did they? They were going around in the daylight saying, "Can we see it coming out?" And of course,
No.
it's so diluted, you can't see it. So what you need to do is you need to go out at night with people with ultraviolet lamps, or fly over with a drone that's got an ultraviolet, thing, and you could sweep up and down until you start to see glow. You know, didn't think of that one.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
it's so obvious to me. And anyone
Absolutely.
anyone who's ever used ultraviolet dyes will know the reason, well, fluorescent dyes is fluorescent dyes fluoresce in ultraviolet. That's the first again, it's like, don't you understand what you're using? It's like, you want to find a crack in an aircraft, you put ultraviolet dye in it, you turn the lights off, and you wave an ultraviolet lamp. It's like, but you do it in the dark.
Uh,
Yeah. Mm,
they already know what's going on and they don't want to yeah, well, yeah, I mean, that goes with saying with a lot of these shows. They know what's going on, or they've got a great idea and they just, well, let's milk it for another season or two, and then, we reveal that we can always, sort of leave it open and start revealing some other secrets. But I mean, yeah, exactly.
I
I
get the
mean,
feeling as well they film like two months or maybe 3 months, and then the whole rest of the year is kind of no filming. So
yeah.
you don't find out what happens in those months when there's no filming. And is that when they invite other people in to do experiments? But I mean, why aren't they talking about what they find out when the cameras ain't rolling? Why are they talking about what happens in the winter months and other things they found out? Well, they don't talk about that. They only talk about stuff they can film on the show.
Well, I mean, you look at a lot of these shows that are geared towards that, and they have what, maybe a month, maybe 2 month shooting schedule at a certain time of the year, and then they're gone for 6 months, to a year, and then they come back and start filming the next season depending on the series. But I mean, yeah, I mean, you don't really see a lot of and that's the way they are. They don't want to show you the behind the scenes. It might be giving away too much. We got to wait a little bit before we start to let people know about that sort of aspect of things going on. And I mean, yeah, the Skinwalker Ranch has a lot of really weird, aspects to it, and everything, like we said, to the UFO aspect, the skinwalkers, and so on and so on. I mean, there's so many different even yeah, what is it, the Homestead tour, is it Homestead, whatever, that's
Mm,
apparently haunted. Even, they're talking about some really weird haunting sort of aspects in the one building there, and I'm like, then, you know get it out there.
mm.
But they don't wanna.
There's another thing. They when people get headaches, they put them in this metal silo that's next to the house.
Yeah.
And they
Hey,
said, "Oh,
Melissa.
we're putting you in the metal silo to kind of, get rid of any frequencies." Wrong. It's not a sealed silo. I mean, an EMF cage has to be
Yeah.
properly sealed. And when the cameras point up, you can see big holes in the top of it. So it's like, well, that's going to let in all the radio waves and all the shit. It
Yeah.
might reduce it a little bit, but it's not going to nullify it. So why don't you build an
Yeah.
actual proper Faraday cage? So if somebody is feeling ill, you put them in the real Faraday cage, one that's
Yep.
military grade,
Yep.
like that they would use in a bunker. Yeah. And then you've got a good control sample. But sticking them in a silo that you can see the sky through the holes at the top of it, that's not really a good scientific kind of test. But
Oh man, but
sounds good, but it's flawed.
it's yeah, and it's TV. It's yeah.
I mean,
I
don't get me wrong. I mean, I think their heart's in the right place. I just don't know whether when they're caught in the headlights of all these experiences, I don't know whether they take that away and think about it enough, because I'm sure Brendan Frugal, he's dying to spend money by the looks of it. He'll
mhm.
he'll
Yeah.
get a helicopter out there, he'll get planes out there, he'll get all these people to come and do stuff and do surveys and dig, and that all costs a lot of money. I'm sure if they suggested to him, look, can we do some of this permanent surveying? He'd be like, oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like somebody needs to tell him, or say, like, guys, there's a load of permanent shit you could be doing. Radar. Why don't you go and get a military grade radar, not civilian grade that just goes round like that? You got the civilian grade, and then you got the military, which also goes up and down. So it will tell you height as well as what's flying around there. Why don't you go and get one of those? And they'd be like, all you have to do is like clear it with the military, get the license for it and get it in there.
Is
Boom.
there is there anything on YouTube from people who kind of legit? I mean, as legit as possible. But is there anything on YouTube or out there that kind of, hey, this is what's really going on at the Skinwalker Ranch? You know,
Mm.
I mean, you obviously you have a lot of found footage shit. I mean, there's a couple found footage movies and shit like that's a totally different story. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. Hey, 2K, how are you?
I mean, I'd be contacting the local airports and saying to them, because I know if you or I went there, they'd be like, "Oh, the hell are you?" Piss off. But if go
Yeah,
there with the strength of a TV program, you've got you've got the governor has visited the ranch, you've got all these people, like the lots of high-powered people from the local area have visited this ranch and say, "Yes, we would like to find out more." Then you could say, "Well, look, the governor is backing us. Can we get you on board to tell us?" Getting any weird stuff? Do you get any weird stuff over the ranch? That question hasn't been asked, as far as I'm aware. And you've got radar from the local, control towers would be filling in a blank.
yeah,
You've got weather radar, which you could probably tap into,
yeah,
and the weather radar will pick up clouds and patterns and anomalies and things. Is there any anomalies over the area? Because the weather radar sees at 200 miles, that way to that way.
yeah.
And it's, why don't you just ask it? Can we have a feed? Can we tap into your data and have a look and maybe monitor what you can see happening over our area? I would, I think, with a TV program behind you and all these officials behind you, you would be able to ask for something like that.
A little bit, yeah, a lot more money than most would have. Then hey, why not? But yeah,
Yeah.
it'll come down in the next season or heading that way, right?
Well, I hope so. I mean, I might just wang a very quick email off to them and say, look, hey guys, here's a list of really, like, good ideas that you could permanently have in place.
There's a Swedish chef saying there's a sister ranch too. Is that Homestead too that you're? Oh, I don't know if that's also in Utah, but they also talk about it in the show. Why not?
Exactly. So why don't they put the permanent monitoring on that location? That's the
Yeah,
homestead. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I mean, they've got their base of operations kind of somewhere where not much has happened apart from one cow died
yeah,
nearby, and so it's not that close to, the to where they've got their base of operations. I mean, they could move a base of operations. I mean, what if you think weird shit's coming in and out all the time from Homestead 2? They're talking about having cows there as
mhm.
a biological monitor of weirdness. How about having humans there
Yeah,
as a biological monitor of weirdness? Because a human is going to tell you, I just saw something weird walking through my caravan because it's right next to Homestead 2. Why don't they put a caravan there? Bang, on Homestead 2.
maybe they're too afraid liabilities. Something bad might happen. It might not be a cattle mutilation. It might be human mutilation. They don't want to. They don't want to risk it. Who knows? I don't know. Yeah, it's weird how they don't think that, but
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they've probably thought of the liability thing because every show they're kind of going like, "Oh, I'm not sure whether we should do this. Kind of dangerous. Got to get permission from the boss." I'm sure he has got either a disclaimer,
yeah,
like the people who are working on this are not going to sue me if they get ill, and he's got things in place. They would have to have thought about that. But I mean, you're on site, you're there. Why not have somebody right next to the hot zones, and
yeah,
therefore, I mean, why not even put a control tower up on the mesa on top looking down? You know,
exactly.
I mean, height always is your best thing for kind of being able to kind of see what's going on. Why not set something up on top of the mesa and build a bloody stairs up the side of the mesa to get to it? You know?
That's unnecessary money that they want to squander. I guess I don't know. Ugh,
Well, I don't know. I don't know how much money they have got. Maybe they are on a shoestring. Maybe they're just trying to do things, that they can do within a budget. But it doesn't seem like,
where's
yeah,
what channel is it on again? I can't remember. Is it history?
history
History.
channel.
That's right.
Yeah,
History. Yeah. Yeah. Huh, there you go. It could be on a shoestring. Who knows? Who
yeah.
knows? It's an interest. Always has been. I think obviously. I think one of the first time I ever heard about Skinwalker Ranch obviously was probably hearing it on Coast to Coast when they were talking about it on Coast to Coast years ago.
Mm,
And all the stuff that would go on or supposedly go on there. But um, again, it just it's like a lot of things on Matt. A lot of things that we've heard about for so many years. There's no advancements. It seems stagnant. It seems okay. Are we ever going to learn anything more about this shit? You know, and that's a prime example. The Skinwalker Ranch. All these claims that are being made, but honestly, it's like the Brown Mountain Lights. There's another thing. The Brown Mountain Lights is guaranteed. If you go to the Brown Mountains any night, you're going to see these lights. Well, then what are these lights? What are they? Sure, they're great. Wow, I'm in awe. But what are they? Tell me, what do you think they are? What are they? Other than, well, it's said that they have these bases carved in the mountain, and there's an entrance over here that we've captured on video several times, and yet you never see any legitimate fucking footage of it, but they're there, right?
yeah, so they say. Yeah.
So they say, and it just sucks. It's like all this stuff with Bigfoot. Yeah, Steve, Bigfoot even. I mean, there's another thing, you get all this stuff. Oh yeah, yeah, Bigfoot exists, blah blah blah. But anything new that comes out is like, wait a sec. With the technology that we have today, can't you get a better picture?
Hmm.
Same with UFOs. Can't you get a better picture? I don't know.
Well, they say there's a massive repository with this immaculate constellation stuff that's held at the Pentagon and White House, and why
Yeah.
would you hold something like that at the White House, by the way? It's a bit weird.
Mm,
I'm not saying it isn't, but they reckon that's a massive repository of photos, which are high resolution and supposed to be much better than things we've ever seen so far.
mhm.
So, I mean, that needs to be released. We
Yeah,
need to see
share.
more stuff.
Yeah, share the damn thing.
Yeah.
You don't release it. Wow, it doesn't make any sense.
And they're saying that, it would reveal sources and methods and capabilities and things like that. And it's like, well, as they pointed out in the hearing, just take the metadata off the sides.
Mm,
All we want to see is the what it looks like, and how clear it is, just to help us understand if you've got a better photos and videos. We don't need to know the capabilities of the machine that took the photo, and what ranges it can operate out to and see out to. We don't need to know that. We just need to see the photo. Thank you very much.
exactly, Steve. Yeah, exactly. This is what I mean. And there's literally a explanation for what's happening at the Brown Mountain, and yet you have a guy like what's his name? Oh God, what was his name again? Holy, let me, I can't think of his name now. That researcher writer. Oh God, he spent years at the Brown Mountain trying to explain it. And he didn't really try to explain it. He just said, look at, come on out, come and see the Brown Mountain lights, and you'd be amazed because it's guaranteed that you'll experience something.
Mm.
Of course you're guaranteed, because exactly what Steve said right there. Tectonic plates, plate movement causes buoyant plasma at the Brown Mountains. Pretty much an explanation then, what it is. And but they don't want to, certain people don't want to admit to something like that, because it takes away from their, say, uh their money making sort of business. I'll take you on a tour of this section of the Brown Mountain, where you can see the actual, where the UFOs go into the side of the mountain, and so on and so on. Oh man, I can't even think of that guy's name now. He's been
You
on
know,
something Warren. He's been on Coast to Coast several times, many times.
mm, Dr. Michael Persinger did another similar research at Washington State.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's the place out in, is it like Norway or something like that? Hesteland.
Okay.
Hesteland. And they have these frequent lights are seen popping out and coming across and doing various things. And they've filmed some of this because they've got permanent equipment set up monitoring 24/7, 365, and it's connected with the universities there, so they
Yeah.
monitor it and they run some of this stuff. I mean, again, couldn't the Skinwalker Ranch people say, "Hey, what sort of equipment do you use? What are you using? Because we could duplicate it. Can you tell us what you're using?" And then they could say, right, well, we could stick this on the ranch.
Yeah.
We could
Hmm.
stick this equipment. They might be missing some tricks there because people have already tried to do this sort of things in other places, and they're kind of starting from scratch, and they're kind of trying to come up with all these novel new ideas and new ways of doing things. But it's like, well, what about tried and tested? That's 24/7, 365 monitoring,
Yes,
which they only seem to do with cameras, I think.
exactly, Swedish Chef. Yeah, Joshua P. Warren. That's who I was trying to think of.
I
And
was quite surprised that some of their cameras were they'd only set them up to record at 15 frames a second as well. And I mean, like, come on, with this anomalous stuff moving around, you want to be like 60 frames a second, you want to be recording. and you want to have massive hard drives. I mean, it'd be like, oh, but the data. Yeah, that's right. It's called buy bigger hard drives and lots of them. Yeah,
Exactly,
you know,
exactly.
and you want to be running at 60 frames a second, not 15 frames a second. You know.
Yeah, it's like, back in the day when you used to try to render something that you're editing, and it used to take forever, and it'd take up a whole hard drive.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, plasma that floats. Yeah, exactly. Plasma that floats. That's what is point. Point plasma. Can plasma float? Of course it can.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know. It's
They haven't used multispectral cameras. They don't have any of those. They just have standard off the shelf security type cameras, some of which zoom. And I believe they've got a limited amount of infrared, forward looking infrared FLIR type things,
mhm,
cameras.
mhm.
But I mean, those are just standard spectrum cameras. What they could do is go for, you know, multi-frequency cameras, which see much more in the infrared and right up into the ultraviolet. And they don't seem to be looking in those ranges at all, you know?
I have two multi-spectrum cameras, full spectrum cameras that I use, and I have to tell you, I absolutely love them.
Mm,
I love them, and I've captured some kind of some really phenomena, but really weird phenomena. But and people go, well, no, that's just the camera. No, 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 no. You have to understand a full spectrum camera, like a multi-camera, multi-spectrum camera.
mm.
It's not a glitch in the camera. That's what it's supposed to do. That's what it's supposed to pick up. It's not your normal. Yeah, most people go, "Wow, no, that's a glitch." No, it's not. Like there's, um, and I mean, if anybody knows, I mean, you could even get a hack on what is it, YouTube. There's plenty of hacks to make your own full spectrum cameras too, isn't there?
With some cameras, yeah, it
Yeah, with some of them.
depends what the sensors are set up for, whether they are capable of seeing in different ranges. But I mean, UV is like you can go far infrared and you can go far UV. So, again, they should be getting high res cameras that are like going far range infrared, which is what like the FLIR,
Yeah,
is. But they want to go the other way too and say, well, hey, maybe there's something going on in ultraviolet that we haven't seen. So let's get a camera which is extremely ultraviolet. It might be specialist kit, might cost a lot of money, but get one of them on the ranch. Let's find out whether you're not seeing things in the ultraviolet ranges.
I remember years ago, I used to be able to get them on eBay. I don't know if they've been outlawed on eBay now or not, but I remember with the old Sony night vision cameras, the old ones, before they took the X-ray vision off, the technology they took off, and once they did that, you're able to buy this lens that you can retrofit back on the night vision cameras with that sort of. Actually, do I hold on? Let me just see here. I think I have it. Let's see, where are we? Just to give you like an idea.
Mm. Here's another idea, just out there for the Skinwalker Ranch people. If you're watching, I'm sure you're not. But like they said, oh, we're going to point a laser at a part of the mesa. And
Hmm.
then in another show, they were saying, we think there might be gravitational waves. Well, if there's gravitational waves, it's going to bend the beam
Yeah,
because gravitational will bend the beam. So why don't they set up a permanent straight laser pointing at the mesa and put a big whiteboard with a grid pattern on it, you know, marked up like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, horizontally and vertically. And why don't you just point a beam at it and point a camera at that permanently and see whether the beam
exactly.
moves around? Because it should be pointed in the same spot the whole time. And bar high winds, which might vibrate the platform that the laser's on, it should pretty much be sat there the whole time. But I mean, if you see various fluctuations going on, then it's going to give you some idea that there's gravitational things going. It's a permanent experiment. You could keep that going months.
So here's an old. Let me just load it up here. And I don't know if I ever showed you this, Matt. Share screen.
Well, your Pornhub.
Yeah.
OnlyFans.
And this is with the digital high 8 with 1,000 x 37mm X-ray filter that they used to have this technology in their cameras before people started using it for more nefarious sort of things, and then they were forced to take them out. But this is broad daylight. All right, this is using night vision and broad daylight with a special filter that allows you to without burning the fucking lens.
Yeah.
And just there's a point. Let me just fast forward it. See if I can. It's not the best on YouTube, unfortunately. Where is it? But I mean, it's not the best on YouTube. But the stuff that you're able to capture, what are those planes called, Matt?
What, that type of plane, like a jet?
Is that a jet? That's way up there.
It's got 4 engines on it, so it's like a commercial passenger jet, probably.
Way up there, though? Like that far up?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. You're lucky if you can see them. Sometimes they're so high.
Wow. Yeah, look at that. But anyways, yeah.
Steve said there's no camera that can see X-rays and gammas. Not strictly true. Think about it. X-ray film. What do they do when you got X-rays? It shows up on the film. So you could put sealed containers, X-ray film, large sheets of the stuff, and put it in the ranch. And then you can come back and see whether anything's exposed. It shouldn't be exposed because it's in a sealed container. The only thing that can get through that sealed container is an X-ray. So therefore, you can show whether you're getting exposures that way. That's another thing you could do. And digital X-ray stuff now, the sensors for X-rays are in a plate, which is a digital sensor. So therefore, you don't even have to have film. And you could buy a load of those off Agfa or Fuji, who make them. And you could put those around the ranch. And then you just keep bringing them in and putting them in and seeing whether anything's banged a bit of X-rays onto them. So I mean, X-ray sensors. You don't have to have an X-ray emitter to find out whether something has been emitting X-rays at you. Because it is natural X-rays at the ranch. X-rays, gamma rays, in those sorts of spectrums, those high-end spectrum stuff. There are ways of detecting it and sensing it, not just with a meter, but you can actually have a plate, and you can see whether anything's there on a plate.
What what would emit in that realm? What do you think would emit on that on the ranch that would emit within the X-ray realm for them to record it?
It could be something that was radioactive, which is giving off particles, or a high energy. Because I mean, all an X-ray is just basically an emitter, like a cathode ray tube, but it's done through. I think it's done through a certain voltage and a certain medium. There's like a you know, there's gases involved, and you basically, if you're firing a spark across a gap at high voltage, you get X-rays off it. So where are the sources coming from? A high energy source, you know.
Mm.
So if something's emitting X-rays, you've got to say, well, it's got a lot of voltage, you know, it's millions of volts, a lot of, you know, a lot of power behind it.
Yeah, there are CCDs and CMS. Sorry, CMAS for
CMOS,
X-rays. Yeah,
yeah.
CMOS.
Well, that's true
EM
because I mean,
spectrum.
they do actually bombard some people with X-rays with a plate, a live plate underneath. So when they're doing surgery, they can actually see where they're poking things in. You know,
Mm,
so there
mm.
are systems available like that. So there are camera systems available which can literally show you X-ray. So you've got a camera out there pointing, and you're seeing, are there any X-ray beams coming in live? You know,
Yeah,
it's,
that's go ahead, sorry.
no, it's just they've got those systems in hospitals. They are in use, so they're commercially available. You know, they're things that could be brought on if they thought it was worthwhile, if they thought there was any benefit in it.
Wouldn't that be really really intriguing? That's the reason why we're probably not seeing a lot of perhaps these UFOs, if you will, or even what's coming with these UFOs, if that is a thing. That they exist in a different realm. They exist in a different realm that we can't see.
Maybe, you know, as if dimensions cross, maybe as they cross, there's like an
Mhm.
arcing effect, like a
Yeah,
sparking or an arcing, you know, and that's what you're getting, these breakthroughs. And the breakthroughs could be gives off gamma rays, gives off X-rays, gives off, you know, all these different things. Um, but I really think they need to sort of like work out systems that are going to localize it real time.
mm,
That's the key to finding out whether or not there's something moving around the ranch, you know, and
mm,
where is it? Is
mhm.
it coming in waves? And that way you could actually see a wave coming and know that something's going to happen there. You know, you can kind of detect the waves on its way. Um,
Yeah.
I don't even know why they don't start thinking about moving some of these sensors further off the ranch, because a lot of their neighbors are interested because they've appeared on the show. So why do they say, well, hey, can we stick one of these big cameras, you know, like, or a sensor out as far as you, 10 miles out?
Yeah.
So we can kind of tell when something's coming, you know, like some sort of wave or something is coming towards us, you know, which is where the radar would come in. I mean, they could get 150 miles out of a good quality radar.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I mean, that would be so like to be able to use equipment like that, in a lot of just any of this type of work would be just amazing to get your hands on that kind of equipment. Um, would be great. And I think only certain people would even think about using this stuff. I mean, you obviously use night vision or the run of the mill kind of stuff. But I mean, there's more than just night vision. I mean, night vision is great and everything, but it's not the end all be all when it comes to other spectrums of light. There's just so many different spectrums that we could somewhat reach into with devices that I think would definitely, yeah, like daily radiation testing.
I reckon real time radiation testing, they
Yeah.
should have all these radiation meters networked,
Hmm.
and somebody who is a tech boffin could probably build a little Arduino onto a Geiger counter
Yeah.
and put it in a box with a little antenna on it, Wi-Fi antenna, and then you'd have and just build a ton of those and just stick them out. Yeah, that sort of sensor, absolutely. And there's loads of tech boffins out there who would be more than happy to modify cheap Geiger counters so that they communicate via Wi-Fi, and you're getting real-time readings, and all you got to do is just monitor. Yeah.
This one doesn't beep.
Is that a Geiger counter?
Yeah. This one doesn't beep though.
It's an actual Geiger counter or just an app on your phone?
It's an app on the phone.
Well, it's
But
not a
it
Geiger counter then.
no, it's an app. But let's see. I've got one. Where is it? Not a Geiger counter, but hold on.
EM kind of meter.
You got a Gauss meter.
Yeah.
It's not very loud.
Yeah. Like tri-field meters are kind of similar. They can pick up magnetic stuff as well as RF, depending on which modes they're in.
I mean, yeah. Ultimately, a Geiger counter is, probably obviously your best bet. But I mean, it's just like EMF. The same thing with EMF, right? I mean, a lot of these when you try to explain to people about these frequencies, radiation. Obviously, it's people know about radiation, but they haven't got a clue about fucking measuring it.
Hmm.
Or nor do they really care. They think they're in a safe environment. Why would I have to? Why would I have to monitor it?
I mean, I'm looking at it here now, £148. They've got a digital Geiger counter, Wi-Fi wireless data logger.
Oh wow!
So they make them. They're on Amazon. Wi-Fi. You don't even have to get somebody to build something like this for you. All you have to do is you have to power them with a battery, so they're
Yeah.
permanently on,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to build a Wi-Fi network. So you're pointing at these things or picking up the signals, and yeah, built-in Wi-Fi ready. Stay connected with a Geiger counter world map. So they've even got a system whereby it's registering it on a map. So if you put 10 of these things in a field, you can look at the map, and it's going to show you on the map
There you go.
what it's doing. I mean, that would be meaningful, I think, to kind of be collecting that data to see whether there's trends. When we have something happen, do all the Geiger counters go up or only in a certain area? And then they could focus on that area more. It's kind of, but it's too hit and miss when they kind of, we only come out after the fact with a Geiger counter, or once every 2 weeks, because we're doing a particular experiment at this time. So we'll bring a Geiger counter out.
Would say every day? I don't know. Would everyday radon interfere with that counter?
A little bit, but I
Yeah, a
mean,
little, but not a lot.
not a lot. You'll still be in background radiation levels, because the ground, the things in the ground give off radon. So
Yeah.
rocks, I believe, kind of give off radon gas. But again, it's all going to be kind of in the normal ranges. What they're talking about is things that shouldn't be there, spikes that shouldn't be, which are transient if some sort of phenomena is coming through.
Reading. Yeah, you need this for post-nuclear incidents. Made in Canada, CT008F. Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Okay, hold on a sec here. Yeah, it's again employing this with understanding, again with a place like the Skinwalker Ranch. I mean, you would really need to be educated properly with using this device to understand it, right? I mean, honestly, hi, I've got a spike. Okay, something's going on, but that may not be the case. I mean, it's obviously something that you would need more than just basic knowledge with something like this, right?
Well, I mean, it's fairly easy to set up, and if it's going to continue to collect data, you can kind of make your assumptions on what's triggering it later on. But I mean, it's just having the measurable data, so you can correlate it with like a UFO sighting did everything go up? Because at the moment, all they're really able to tell is, did we capture it on camera? And did we have something on our spectrum meter, an RF spectrum meter? Well, wouldn't it be nice to also say, and our Geiger counters went up, and the magnetometers all went up, And it's like, so adding all these extra things, the barometer pressure, like temperature, moisture in the air, barometer, all of those weather things, they're all commercially available. There should be multiples of them around the ranch, and they should be monitoring continuously so they can compare and overlay the data saying, this event happened. Oh, look, we also had magnetometer readings, and we had this, and we had that. And so that's when I think you can then classify it as being scientific. Whereas at the moment, I mean, it's like a ghost thing, isn't it? You go there because somebody said they saw a ghost, and you don't find anything when you go there.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, well, you're too late. So you have to have this stuff permanently set up, permanently recording all of it, I think, for it to be meaningful. And then you can actually make a case that, when something is happening, that all of our equipment is registering it, or maybe only some. You can start to work out, well, we can do away with the weather equipment because it never registered anything, but we do get X-ray, so we'll focus on the X-ray stuff more, and it's kind of like work out where are the best things to kind of push this forward.
The one that Steve mentioned was nuclear Geiger counter, Gamma Guard CT008F radiation detector. It runs at 610 Canadian. So that's probably like 3 and change for you.
Mm.
But yeah, made here. Wow. But they highly recommend that detector. There's so many different with it actually comes with a RG6F type satellite antenna, eh? So you can attach it, I guess. So you could definitely grab a few of those and somehow patch it into some sort of recording system or something that will be able to record the data, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
On a grid sort of level. I mean, how hard would it be to say, like, to devise like some sort of grid collecting sort of um program for something like that?
Not hard at all.
Yeah.
I mean, those Wi-Fi Geiger counters, apparently they put the data on a map. So
Oh yeah. Okay.
so all you got to do is just put them out there and power them, connect them to Wi-Fi, and you probably have to set it up so that through the software or whatever you're using, you have to kind of say, well, this number 1 unit is positioned here on the map, and this number 2 one is positioned here on the map. But once you got that, the readings it's giving you will appear on the map, so you can start to build up kind of an idea of what's going on. Whether the readings are changing in some way. Same with the magnetometer stuff. I mean, the guy who's coming along with the magnetometer, all of these devices are going to produce a kind of a number, basically.
Yeah.
How high is the reading or how low is the reading? So that number can be loggable. All you need to do is just put 20 or 30 of them out across the ranch, get them Wi-Fi'd up, or maybe you don't even Wi-Fi them, just have an Arduino logging device in them, so that the number, what's coming off the output of the number system, is being recorded on an Arduino, and you just power it. You just put a car battery there, connect it up, leave it on for a week or two, come back, put a new car battery underneath it, take the old car battery away, charge it, and you just keep a load of these car batteries there, charging them and taking them out and putting them on. That should be somebody's daily job, is just changing the batteries on all these sensors. Seems to make sense to me. I mean, you could put a solar panel on there so that the thing is charging during the day, and solar panels are cheap, and lead acid batteries are cheap. And the little solar controller is cheap. So there you got permanent power. So around the ranch, you could have loads of solar panels with all these devices just reading off and registering. And you could go back to them every once in a while, take the SD card out, take it back to the ranch, upload it, and then compare the data to kind of see what's been going on. Or you can have it live via Wi-Fi if you wanted to go the extra bit. Connect the Arduinos with the Wi-Fi, so you don't even have to go out and change the card. It's all that data is just straight back to the ranch and being logged.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just a little bit of a side note too. I don't know if you guys know this, and you probably do know, but the Onion bought Infowars.
What?
Infowars. Alex
The
Jones Infowars.
oh, it bought him.
Yeah, yeah, bought it out. Yeah, I guess there was a bidding war that went on, and the Onion won the bidding.
But the Onion are the comedy, aren't they?
Exactly. That's what I find even more humorous.
Mm.
But they bought the rights to wow to it. Yeah. Wow.
Well, I suppose he was kind of bankrupt, really, isn't it? Because in terms of he was owing
Billion dollars.
hundreds of
Billion.
millions in fines and fees. Well, if
Yeah.
you know,
Wow. But the Onion though. Oh my god, that just wow. That just seems so
but are they buying it out to shut it down, or are they buying it out to keep it going? That's the
They're
thing.
keeping it going because basically they quoted what was the quote that I found quite hilarious. Hold on. Let's see here. The quote that they had. Oh, so here's why I decided to buy the Infowars. Okay, so that's basically uh wow, it's been around since 1999. So basically to continue to um basically, yeah, continue it the way it is. Like, I mean, because they're basically saying people see it as it is, just, like a comedy, really, a farce, if you will. And I'm like, well, I don't know if Alex Jones thought it was a farce.
Well, he's been right about a lot of stuff and
Yeah,
bat and gone off the rails on others. But
yeah,
I suppose it's a way to kind of buffer. If you want to get away with saying things, you just say, "Hey, we're only being comedic,"
yeah,
and then you can
exactly. The
say
way they
anything. Then,
present it, yeah.
yeah.
Wow, that's
It's a good way to slip it in a way that you can't get into trouble. You can say, "We're not actually being serious when we say any of this stuff." Wink,
yeah.
wink. But everybody knows you are being serious. But you say, "No, it's just comedy. It's just comedy. It's just comedy."
I still
It's a way to kind of get yourself out of trouble.
I still remember the first time I remember hearing or hearing about Alex Jones or seeing Alex Jones or listening when he came. I remember, yeah, again coming on Coast to Coast, and it was just after, literally just after he had snuck, apparently snuck into the Bohemian Grove and filmed it and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, wow, this is actually pretty fascinating. Like, did he actually sneak in or was he let in or whatever else? But getting all the behind the scenes and the ceremony with the owl and filming all that and so on and so on. I mean, that literally, opened up a lot of people's minds to that shit that's going on or apparently going on. But you know, I don't know, taking it out of context, maybe, I don't know. Like, I mean, yeah, they do have that rich man club. I mean, it's there. I mean, a lot of, you know, elites have gone to that place over the years. A lot of the people that have been listed are apparently, and they do have this, this ceremony. I forget what they call it. Something with
The
the owl.
cremation of
The
care.
Yeah, the cremation of care. But I mean, yeah, that's the first time I remember hearing about Alex Jones. That was
Mm.
God. That was what, years ago. That was probably the early 2000s, right?
Another idea I thought of that hasn't been done yet on the ranch. Really simple, right?
Mhm.
And it's kind of obvious. They're getting these spikes at 1.6 gigahertz.
Yeah.
And they say that nothing operates that they kind of conventionally know that operates in 1.6 gigahertz. Well, obviously stuff does, but not conventionally, not widely known. It might be space astronomy or something. It's kind of like a band kept clear, perhaps. However, why don't you try talking back to it in the frequency that it's emitting,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
harmonics of it? 1600. So what do you have, like you know eight 800? A harmonic of 1600 is 800. So
Mhm.
why don't they bang out a load of power and transmit RF to see if they get a reaction in different bands? Now, you can run into some problems because of licensing,
Yeah.
like wanting to transmit on a frequency. Why do you want to do that? But for
Mhm.
experimental purposes, you might be able to do it. And you could possibly even pump out a lot of power, because there are people who work in the radio field, could get you like, 100 kilowatt transmitter on site, and could get you some beam antennas, which will magnify that output, so you could be talking megawatts of power.
Mhm.
I know
Yeah.
somebody who's a radio engineer, used to do pirate radio, and he was transmitting millions of watts of power, and if you can do that, that might get a reaction. But it's so far they've not even spoken about that. Like, why don't we pump something back at the same frequency that it's coming out on? It might decloak something, it might make something appear, it
Yeah.
might kind of interfere with whatever it is, and then you get another reaction, kind of like it. But why aren't they trying to bang back something at the frequency? It's almost like as if somebody's trying to talk to you. Hello, hello, I'm on 1.6 gigahertz. Hello, hello. Well, why don't you talk back
Mm.
on the same frequency? Burp. See what you can, and try different modulations, try
Mm.
different, pulse it,
Yeah.
continuous pulse it, move up and down the spectrum near it, zoom, 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 try to see if you can, you know, it again seems like an obvious idea, not something they've thought of.
Yeah. Steve says used to love Gareth's Alex Jones impression. Yeah, I remember that.
Mm.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah, it just yeah, but again, Matt, I mean, we could come up with so many great ideas, but yeah. We're we're not in the, I guess, the graces of these TV shows, all right. Uh, if we were on the yeah, but even if you were a part of that TV show and suggested it, they probably wouldn't even do it because it's not, well, it's not entertaining. No, but
Hey, there was a guy and his phone. Just as another, a guy and his phone keeps freaking out, and it it,
mm,
it opens
yeah,
without his passcode, without his fingerprint. So it
mm,
opens, and then it starts. And I'm thinking, right, well, why don't you buy another brand new phone and see if the new phone does it?
does the same
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
yeah. And if it's only happening on the old phone, and you've got a brand new phone next to it, well, you could say it might be a fault in the old phone, you
Mm,
know but
yeah.
that's a simple kind of, maybe the phone is broken, you need to buy another phone and see if it stops happening, you know
Exactly.
because they're assuming that it's something making his phone do that, but it's, well, buy another phone and see whether it does it on the new phone. If it does it on the new phone as well, well, that's interesting, you know
It's yeah, it's an intriguing place. I mean, overall, it's an intriguing place. And I really do like to see some really serious research on that place. I mean, it's for all that stuff that apparently is happening in one area, it's just something's going on. Something major's going on. It doesn't make sense to just say, "Oh no, it's all just all bullshit." No, I really do think there's something major is going on. And yeah, sure some of it is fluffed up. But I mean, for the most part, the UFO activity and the sort of other aspects, I really do believe, yeah, something amazing's happening, and for the most part, people just say, "Yeah, okay, whatever." But I really do. I mean, what do you think? Vortex, portal. I mean, what could it what could I mean, you look at other places like the Bridgewater Triangle and then the Bermuda Triangle, all these places that have this, a multitude of things that are on, well, not so much the Bermuda Triangle, but with the Bridgewater Triangle, but all these areas that seem to have a multitude of things that are happening. I mean, what is it? Is it just maybe we're going in? There's just something off with that particular area of the earth. I mean, what is it?
Could be something under the ground,
Yeah.
which is they've already said that they've got magnetic shifts, which are kind of weird on underground. So they think there might be something in the soil. I think they brought some of it up, and they said it's highly rich in uh, metal type compounds, which might be adding to this magnetic effect. Um, so more, they could drill down deeper, I suppose, and try and find out what's going on. Um, I don't know why they don't just go up in, on the top of the mesa as well, because they don't seem to stick any cameras up there.
Mm,
It's always down by the farmhouse, all down at very low level,
yeah.
and then you've got the mesa, which is much higher, which is giving you a vantage point, which is way higher than anything else. So
Yeah.
stick some sensors up there, um, into areas that you're not normally seeing as well, because people have talked about things coming in and out of the mesa, in and out of the mesa.
Yeah.
Well, the mesa goes up and back. So you're down here, you can't see what's going on over the back because it's too high. So you should at least have something up there at the other side of the mesa, way off at the back end of the mesa, scanning around cameras or whatever to see if there's anything going on in the mesa, itself when they see stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
maybe build an antenna, like an antenna tower, like a couple of 100 feet up, guy it off with wires, build a big thing and stick cameras up, 300-400 feet in the air.
And they don't have anything permanent there, do they?
No.
Like you said, nothing permanently, collecting data,
Yeah.
which just makes sense. It's just, yeah, I don't understand why they wouldn't have anything that permanently collects any data at all. Collection of data. Yeah, just, I don't know. But, sir,
Oh
I
well.
I have to run, but thanks for popping in. Hey, you know what? Really, really fascinating talk, and especially on now I want to watch the rest of the series.
I want to watch to see whether or not they kind of get up to speed with some of these ideas. I mean,
Yeah,
I think if I could be asked to remember to do it, I should jot some of these ideas down and just say, look, here's a load of experiments you can do. These ones are permanent.
yeah.
You can keep them on site permanently.
Hmm.
Um,
And then shoot them an email or two. Say, hey,
yeah.
look it. Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, I have to sit down and watch. And like I said, I'll probably I'm looking forward to the rest of the investigation alien, which I find is quite interesting with George Knapp as well.
Hmm.
That's interesting little mini series, if you will, too. So, all right, Matt, take care, my friend.
All the best. Thanks
Yeah,
everyone in chat.
yeah. Take care, everybody in chat. We'll see y'all later.
All the best.
Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye.